the best exercise for athleticism that you're not doing. And this is not just me saying this. This is coming from Charles Poliquin, one of the greatest Olympic coaches of all time. So if you don't know who Charles is, he's widely considered one of the greatest, most influential strength and conditioning coaches in history. So he was a highly sought out strength specialist who trained hundreds of athletes across over 20 different sports. To put this in perspective, he's trained over 800 Olympic athletes, to be specific, coaching more athletes to medals than arguably any other coach in the history of the Olympics. So it's safe to say this guy knows a thing or two about what he's talking about when it comes to athleticism, when it comes to strength and conditioning, and just being overall healthier and stronger. So I start off this video with a bold claim: the best exercise that you're not doing, that is the back extension for lower back strength. So he argued that this was the foundation of everything else. So he also thought the squat was the king of exercises, since this would let you move the most weight, other than a deadlift of course. And he frequently argued that a weak lower back was the primary bottleneck for many athletes, preventing them from progressing their lifts like the bench press and overhead press, since this was the weak point. So he believed that strengthening the erector spinae, the muscles running up the spine, created an irradiation effect. So essentially, a rock solid core and lower back would allow your nervous system to unlock more power in your limbs because the power field is stable enough so you can exert more force, was the theory behind it. There are different types of the back extension that he would recommend training, such as the 45-degree back extension, or a 90-degree flat back extension, reverse hyperextensions, and seated good mornings. These were some of his main recommendations, as it's a weak point that most athletes, bodybuilders, and powerlifters neglect and don't train. Now, a lot of bodybuilders may avoid this under the pretext of not wanting to get a big blocky waist. However, Charles argued that this is bad for several reasons. So for one, it becomes the weak link. It's like an energy leak. So your lower back is the primary force or hub where the transfer of energy happens between your upper body and your lower body. So if your lower back is weak, you're going to be leaking energy here. So even if your legs are strong enough to squat 405 pounds, let's say, but your body won't let you because your back can't stabilize the load. And avoiding training this likely caps your potential for growth in every other major lift. Not only this, but it is also the primary injury for almost all powerlifters and bodybuilders. They'll experience some type of tweak at some point in their career, me being no exception to this as well, doing heavy squats and deadlifts and tweaking the lower back. And by neglecting this, you can also lead to like muscular imbalances, which are just not very good either. So the main benefits of the lower back being strong is it stiffens the core, and without this stiffness, the spine will bend during explosive movements. So obviously during any sport, this would be an example of this, causing the power generated from your hips, if that's like an explosive movement left to right, or going forward very quickly, will cause the power to dissipate before it is able to reach your arms or legs. Well, strengthening ensures you're able to get much more of the power directly into the muscles that you want. There's a reason top sprinters like Noah Lyles will train the reverse hyperextension and different variants of the back extension because it is a core movement involved in being explosive. So obviously sprinting is super explosive and it's going to directly correlate with your athleticism. What are some good rules of thumb for the back extension? So there's this guy on YouTube who has pretty good standards, lower back guy, I think is his name. Another good guy is knees over toes guy. These guys have both had different types of injuries, with the back extension guy obviously having like a lower back injury, some type of like disc slip, and that knees over toes guy having a knee injury. And then both of these guys have found Charles Poliquin's training and use a lot of this in their own programs. So usually you're able to always just kind of work your way backwards to the information to where it is, where like the best information is or the source of it, and then people revise on it and improve it. But it's good to know where it comes from. Similar to Tony Robbins was initially taught by Jim Rohn, and Jim Rohn was taught by someone else. But most people don't know, right? They just know like their generation's version of this person. But anyways, good rule of thumb is you can start off with some isometrics. So if you can just hold yourself up on the back extension for 120 seconds or 2 minutes with both feet, that's like the first standard. And the second is, can you hold yourself with one foot for 1 minute on each side? Then the next standard is be able to do 30 reps of body weight on the back extension. So on the 45-degree one, just all the way down and up 30 times. Then the next standard I would say is being able to do half your body weight for 10 reps on the back extension. So if you weigh 200 pounds, being able to do 100 pounds for 10 reps. Then the freak athlete level, if you're trying to dominate whatever sport you're playing, be incredibly explosive and have that back protection to not get injured, being able to do your body weight for 10 plus reps, and anything above this is the freak athlete standard. This is the weird thing, like we'll do heavy deadlifts and heavy squats, but the back extension is kind of a pseudo version of the deadlift if you think about it. You're just pulling the weight up, but you're bent over instead of just pulling it straight up, like a RDL, right? A pseudo RDL. And even if you don't have back pain, right, it's just a very, very good exercise to build your athleticism, build your explosiveness. And improving this for myself has helped many of my other lifts go up sequentially just because there was not that power leak, right? I was able to just put more of the force into the different movements. Like if you're doing a bench press, you may not think about it, but a lot of the power is coming from your legs as well, your leg drive, right? Then into your lower back, into your lats, chest, triceps, arms, all that good stuff. So yeah, give it a try if you haven't done the back extension in your programs. It's not really in a lot of like, typical workout programs, but if you are playing some sports or you're just trying to, bulletproof yourself so you're less likely to get injured, I recommend doing this for a couple of months and just seeing how you can progress it. Start off with just isometric holds, then do some bodyweight reps to get the movement so you're not going to like tweak a disc or anything. And then once you feel comfortable with the movement and things aren't hurting, try to progress the weight and see if you can get to body weight or 10 or more reps or even higher if you're a freak athlete. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I love you guys. I appreciate it. And remember, take consistent action on your main thing and don't stop. Peace.